Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today we are doing part 2 of the SORAS series. For those who don't know, SORAS is the acronym for Soap Opera Rapid Aging Syndrome. And we did a part 1 before. I forget who was included. There was a whole bunch of stuff included in there. It was Maxie, Dylan,
Georgie, like original Georgie.
Yes, like original Georgie.
OG,
yes.
Yep.
Brooklyn, Michael, and then so these were all written by our fan Cheri, and she loves researching all this, and she has sent us 6 groups, which is just absolutely amazing.
Right.
But also part of that, she put all of these people like in their birth year, but then also what their changed year was. So that was episode 1. Episode 2, I did tweak around some of the groupings because we can just talk about Liz's boys all in one episode.
I love it.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about Liz's boys. And Cheri did have a sweet note on her first, like at the beginning of her group too, and said, I've fallen behind on my SORAS groups for you because I wasn't sure if I was doing it right.
They were awesome.
I
don't feel like there's a right and wrong, but there is a more right than wrong. And hers were perfect. Like it was so much fun. I don't know that I would have known to write them the way that she wrote them, but they were perfect.
Right. Like just enough storyline surrounding what potentially led to the change in age.
Right.
Or even casting, but not enough storyline, not too much storyline that it's actually a super condensed 411 about just that person. Right. I don't know what resources she uses though. So I'm just going to assume she probably uses the same resources that we do, probably General Hospital Fandom. I would assume just any of those resources, probably like soapopera.com or soapcentral.com, things like that. So let's get started with Cameron, the oldest. And I don't think I ever realized Cameron's full name is Cameron Stephen Weber. And so Stephen is after Steve Hardy, her grandfather, Liz's grandfather. And he was born approximately May 11th, 2004, off screen, when his mother, Elizabeth, left town to have her baby and returned on June 18th, 2004 with baby Cameron. Cameron is often left in the care of Elizabeth's grandmother, Audrey Hardy, while Elizabeth studies to become a certified nurse at GH. Elizabeth also reconciles with first love Lucky Spencer, and they get married in 2005. During this time, the role of Cameron is played by Ashwin Baga from 2004 to 2006. In the early years, Cameron was raised by Lucky Spencer and was the only father figure he has ever known. And keep in mind when she's writing this to mean at that time, not currently has only known, because we know that to not be true. Even after the divorce, Lucky remained a presence in Cameron's life, though he never legally adopted him despite several attempts. Nonetheless, Cameron is widely regarded as part of the Spencer family. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I do believe Laura calls him her grandson.
Oh, absolutely.
I do believe so. As evidenced by his close ties with his Aunt Lulu and Laura Collins, whom he affectionately calls Grandma. If you had read the next sentence, Shannon, then child actor Braden Walks, who is the most notable role of young Cameron, was cast in 2006, and he held the role through 2012. Walks took on some emotional storylines during his time as Cameron Weber, from learning that his biological father was Xander Smith, who had died before he was born, to accidentally starting a house fire in 2008 after playing with matches, leading to a dramatic rescue by Elizabeth. He was also struggling with the presumed death of his younger brother, Jake Spencer, in 2011. Cameron had a difficult time coping with the loss and changes in his family afterward. I can imagine that.
Right.
The role was recast again when Michael Leone took over from February 18th, 2013 to March 1st, 2018. On July 3rd, 2018, the role of Cameron was recast with Cade McWatt. Cameron was slightly SORASed from 14 to 15 to place him the same age range as already SORASed Jocelyn Jacks and Oscar Nero. He played the role until July 25th, 2018. So that's
just a month.
Just not even a month, guys. So it's okay if you don't remember that. Because then on August 10th, 2018, the role of Cameron was recast again, and this time it was William Lipton. Lipton was put on contract. Wow, that was quick. October 22nd, 2018 through February 26, 2021, and was put back on recurring status after that. As a teenager, Cameron mirrors his mother's youthful personality and, like Lucky, exhibits musical talents, playing the guitar and singing. During Lipton's run, Cameron was involved in several major storylines. His romance with Jocelyn Jacks, which eventually ended due to a fallout from Esme Prince leaking a private video of Cameron and Jocelyn, which put their relationship under intense pressure. He was a pivotal part of several emotional family storylines involving his mother, brothers, and stepfather Franco. Cameron had many adventures with fellow teens, including Trina Robinson, Jocelyn Jacks, Oscar Nero, and Spencer Cassadine. Cameron eventually graduated high school and left Port Charles to attend Stanford University, which coincided with Lipton stepping away from the show to focus on college. He later returned briefly to support friends and family during important events. He made his last appearance on March 30th, 2023, with the expectation of a short return on December 18th and 19th, 2024, bringing indie star his on-screen girlfriend, Gretchen Ross. Cameron wasn't SORASed much over the years. Some speculation suggests the Weber boys were not aged as much as other kids in an attempt to keep Liz as the young mom. Cameron was aged a little bit more at some point in his late teens, early 20s, as he is listed to be 24 years old now, and he was aged a total of 2 years. So I'm just going to double check that just because she sent us these emails a little while ago. Okay, yep, this one's accurate. He would be 20. Well, hi, Kitty.
She likes being.
Is that Lulu again?
Yes.
All right. Cookie and Lulu are now part of the show.
Right? I never thought about the connection of keeping Liz young by keeping the boys younger.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
I mean, she looks pretty much exactly the same as she did in high school. So, yeah.
Never even thought about it. All right, so then we are on to Jake in 2007. On May 4th, 2007, Elizabeth goes into labor and passes out while trying to call for help. Jason, who stopped by to check on Elizabeth, takes her to General Hospital. Her son is delivered via emergency C-section, and although he wasn't breathing when he was born, luckily he and his mom are saved. Jason spends some time with his son while waiting for Elizabeth to wake up before Lucky arrives. While the two bond as a family with Jake, Elizabeth goes into a coma. She doesn't wake up for a while. I forgot she was in a coma. That's like another add that to the list.
She's not talking to Lulu about this. Yeah.
She needs added to the list. She doesn't wake up for a while. Jason has a request from Elizabeth that if something happens to her, Jason would tell Lucky the truth. Luckily for Jason, just as he's about to tell Lucky that he himself is the father, Elizabeth wakes up. Elizabeth names her baby Jacob Martin. Both she and Lucky agree to name their friends Nicholas Cassadine and Emily Quartermain as godparents. She tells Lucky, Nicholas, and Emily that the reason she has chosen the name was that she always liked the name Jake, and Martin was to honor her late maternal grandfather. When Jason visits her and Jake, she tells him the other reason for the name. She gave her son Jason's initials as part of his name. Jason is honored and happy that she and Jake are safe. Baby Jake is portrayed by twins Landon and Trey at birth, and then later in 2007 by female triplets Amanda, Miranda, and Marissa Jones on both GH and Night Shift. Towards the end of 2007, twins Edward and James Nigbor take over the role of Jake. The boys are easy to tell apart, being fraternal twins with different shades of blonde hair. They continued to play the role of Jake until 2011. I don't know that I ever paid that much attention that you could see a difference.
But remember how we even asked, has anyone ever been cast? And because I mentioned about the Sprouse boys that Cole was Ben on Friends. James
Right.
is the one who went on to continue as Jake.
Oh, okay.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, I never realized there was two. In September
Neither
2009.
did I. Yeah.
Right? In September 2009, Port Charles hosts a carnival at GH. A reconciled Liz and Lucky bring Cameron and Jake along. Jake runs away from Elizabeth just before Jake's great-grandfather, Edward Quartermain, drives his car through the carnival, unconscious at the wheel. His car collapses the tent Jake went into, and Jason, Elizabeth, Sam, and Lucky rummage through the debris and are able to find Jake, who is rushed to the hospital with a suspected concussion. Luckily, the doctors give a clean bill of health, and Jake goes home with his family in good condition. On March 17th and 18th in 2011, Jake is hit by a car in a hit and run. He needs to stay away from his grandparents and great-grandparents or great-grandfathers here. He is declared brain dead and is put on life support. After Carly Jacks learns of this, she goes to Jason and informs him that her daughter, Jocelyn, who is 16 months old at the time, has cancer and needs an organ transplant. She asks Jason for Jake's kidneys. Lucky and Elizabeth agreed to donate Jake's organs, and the transplant saves Jocelyn's life. After I wonder
Go ahead.
if that should affect, not saying that it should, but I'm wondering if that should have been something that was brought up whenever she applied to be in the WSB. Because, like, whenever you go into the Army, you have to give your whole medical background, and certain things disqualify you.
I was just thinking, where was she shot?
Yeah, that would have been good too. Maybe they're going to bring that in. That's why
that's what I was going to say. I'm like, what if
that pain?
They are going to bring in? Also, something I've learned is that it's likely she should probably need a transplant again. But I wonder, like, are they going to bring in? I think I would note this because I just went through all this. So, living donor kidney lasts between 15 and 20 years.
Okay.
So this was done in 2011. So we're at 15, and she was just shot. I'm not saying I want Joss to have kidney problems, but I'm thinking that would be a very, very realistic outcome from
what
they
like
just
to
went through.
Address medical conditions. This would be something to bring up again.
Yeah.
Instead of just forgetting it ever happened like we sometimes do.
Yes, I agree.
So Lucky and Liz agreed to donate Jake's organs, and the transplant saves Jocelyn's life. After a police investigation, it's revealed that Luke Spencer was the one who hit Jake. Most people agree that it was a horrible accident, but Lucky blames his father's drinking for the accident. Luke, stricken with grief over killing his grandson, spins out of control. He trashes the Haunted Star, tries to provoke Jason into killing him, and eventually leaves town. James Nickabor appears as Jake in Jason's dream and Lucky's hallucination in 2011. And then he alone returned to the role of Jake July 9th, 2015, when Luke went to Cassadine Island to find Jake, and Lucky told him that Jake was alive. Lucky didn't say where Jake could be found, but Luke assumed Cassadine Island, so that's where he went. After talking to Helena, she finally told him it was true, and after 4 years, Jake was alive. Luke didn't believe it until Jake drove his remote control car into the living room, ironically hitting Luke in the foot. Helena left them alone to talk. Jake then tells Luke his name is Jake and asks Luke what his name is. Jake is then reunited with Lucky and Elizabeth, then meets Big Jake. He is also given a clean bill of health by Patrick. After the appointment, Jake meets Sam and Carly again. He then meets his grandma Monica and cousin Michael. On August 14th, he finally meets his little brother Danny, and they play together with motorcycles while their mothers look on. Sam with a smile on her face and Elizabeth with a look of terror on hers. Soon after, Jake starts acting strange. On Thanksgiving that year, Jake goes to the Quartermains where he's greeted by his grandma Monica. When Jake finds out that Helena is dead, he gets so upset that he drops the glass figure. When his mom asks if he's upset, he says yes. This is when his mom finally realizes that he needs help. He starts drawing creepy pictures, and the family worries that he saw something on Cassadine Island. When Big Jake's identity is revealed to be Jason, he and Elizabeth break up. Jake makes up a stalker to try to get his mom and dad back together. He also blames Sam for breaking up their family.
That's Jake Doe.
I like big Jake, little Jake.
I know. That's for a second I was like, Big Jake? I was like, oh yeah, Jake Doe.
Yes. On January 29th, 2016,
AKA Drew.
Jake is seen with Jason, who is asking him about the lady he drew dead in a picture. First, he says the lady is pretend, then from a video game. Jason tries to get him to open up, but before he does, the sitter shows up. Jason leaves, and Jake and his sitter play with silly string. Jake gets it in her hair, so she leaves him alone to go clean up. While alone, Jake throws something through the window to make it look like a stalker and then cuts his finger. A few minutes later, Sam shows up and she asks Jake where the sitter is and if he broke the window because the glass is on the outside, not the inside. He denies breaking the window and runs to the basement to hide from Sam. Sam ends up tripping on the steps and falls down the stairs. Jake just watches as she falls and looks as she lies at the bottom of the stairs. Jake is then seen standing over an unconscious Sam and asks if she's okay. Then his babysitter calls his name, wondering where he is. Jake goes upstairs and shuts the door, leaving Sam there. When Jason and Elizabeth arrive home, they find Jake is gone. Elizabeth finds a note from Jake saying goodbye. Jason goes looking for Jake while Elizabeth stays home. When Jason gets back, he tells Elizabeth that Jake's bike is missing. A few minutes later, there is a screech and horns honking, and Elizabeth screams, Jake. Jake has been hit by a car again. He is later seen in the hospital with facial bruising, a broken arm and leg, and internal bleeding, except this time the doctors have revealed that his prognosis is good. Jake regains consciousness with his parents by his side and tells them that he didn't run away for the reason they think. Jake is then wheeled in for surgery. After complications during surgery, he has to stay in the hospital. It doesn't say they ever found Sam. I hope they found Sam. On February 17th.
This is about Jake.
I know, but poor Sam's still at the bottom of the stairs. Right? On February 17th, Elizabeth and Jason find out that Jake's injuries are worse than the doctors previously thought and that he needs special individual care. After finding this out, Jake's parents decide that Monica's recommendation to take him to Shriners Hospital for Children in Philly is the best course of action. James Nigbor made his last appearance on March 3rd, 2016. And then...
I was going to do that, and then you do Aiden.
Oh, okay. I was just going to finish. I figured we'd each do a boy.
Yeah, but then I wind up doing two. So I split Jake in half.
Okay. Poor kid. Go ahead.
Then on April 25th, 2016, Hudson West makes his debut as Jake Weber. Jake is seen with his father waiting for Franco to show up for their art therapy session. Jake tells his dad that Franco is hardly ever late for their sessions and that he always shows up. Franco shows up with a puppy just as Jason goes to call Elizabeth. Jake asks Franco if he can have the puppy, and Franco says yes, but Jason says no. Jason tells Jake that it isn't the right time for a puppy, to which Jake responds, I hate you. Monica interjects and suggests to Jake that they take the puppy to see the Quartermain groundskeeper who has been looking for a dog, so Jake leaves and goes with Monica, and that is Annabelle II. There are some storylines here and there, but none really focused on him. He's just there for other people's stories. And then in December 2019 through March 2021, Hudson West was off screen due to the COVID pandemic. And then from March 2021 to July 6, 2021, he was back on screen before taking another break. He returned March 2nd, 2022 until March 2023. Then in July 2024, Jake gets an incredible opportunity to study at an art school in Barcelona, Spain. He and Jason were on the path to make amends as father and son, and their relationship improved further after Jason came and offered to pay the tuition. On July 31st, 2025, it is mentioned that Jake has joined Lucky and Aiden on their tour of Europe. And we've still never seen Aiden, even though we know he came back. Okay, cool. And the three were currently spending time in Lisbon, Portugal. Jake sent postcards home to his parents to keep them abreast of their travels. On August 7th, 2025, Liz mentions to Rick that the three are now in Norway after Jake sends her a picture. After traveling with Lucky and Aiden for the summer, he returns to school. On September 19th, 2025, Elizabeth called Jake from GH with news about his grandmother, Monica, passing. Hudson West still technically holds the role of Jake Weber, but has not been seen on screen since July of 2024. Jake is the first child of General Hospital that I have research on that was never SORAS and is 19 years old now.
Wow.
And we know from our fan, Maria, who just did the Roundtable Pizza Port Charles night with us, that Hudson West was at the fan event. So could this mean we're going to see him?
That would be awesome.
But either way, that means that he is still Jake because he was at the fan event. So
19.
And we interviewed him. We interviewed him, guys. Go listen to our interview with Hudson West. Super sweet kid.
Oh my God, he was so sweet. But 19. Okay, first of all, I'm not okay with that.
Wasn't he 14 when we talked to him?
I'm not okay with that. And I'm trying to think of what group of characters they're going to throw him in with. Because we don't have anyone that young right now. But the high school kids are too young and the college kids are too old. So we need to
they had
bring
him
him
with
back.
Charlotte for a minute.
I don't know. I don't know where he would hang. I feel like he's too mature for the high school kids and not enough for the college kids. They're now done with college kids.
Maybe it just means we bring somebody in.
We could get a whole new group of college kids now that the college kids are graduating, are getting close to graduating. All right, we'll see. Anyway, then we have Aiden Spencer / Weber, 2010. Aiden Alexei, I cannot say it. Nikolosevich.
There you go.
Thanks. Woo! Cassadine, later renamed Aiden Spencer, thank you, but also referred to as Aiden Weber, was born on screen July 19th, 2010 to Elizabeth Weber and Nicholas Cassadine. Elizabeth goes into premature labor while at Windermere with Nicholas, her two sons, Cameron and Jake, and Nicholas's son, Spencer. She is rushed to the hospital and gives birth to a baby boy with Nicholas by her side. The two of them bond with their son, whom they name Aiden because Elizabeth likes the name. Aiden and Elizabeth are discharged.
How they have to specify that they're just getting named because they just like names.
Hey, it's okay. You're allowed to name your kid whatever you want to. Aiden and Elizabeth are discharged the next day, but when she and Nicholas go to get Aiden from the nursery, he is not there. And the nurses are not sure where he went either because he didn't just get up and walk away. Lucky is called to the hospital, which goes into lockdown to find the baby. At first, Nicholas, Lucky, and Elizabeth suspect Helena, but it's later revealed that serial killer and artist Franco is the one who took the baby. Lucky enlists fellow officer Dante Falconeri and Jason Morgan, with whom Franco is obsessed, to help rescue Aiden. Franco hands Aiden off to his mother, Karen Anderson, wanting to give her the son she always wanted. Jason and Dante, with the help of Damian Spinelli, managed to track down Franco to Oregon. It is very odd that Liz ended up with him.
Isn't it funny that we talk about how, up until Franco was Cameron's other father figure, and Jake and Franco got along so well, with Art. But let's not forget that he also kidnapped. But it was the tumor.
Sure. Lucky gets to Oregon and finds Karen Anderson and Aiden with Spinelli's help. Lucky initially tries to gain access to Lucky initially tries to gain access as a census taker, but he eventually reveals that he is a police officer and says that Aiden was kidnapped. In order to make Karen believe him, Lucky claims he is Aiden's father and asks Karen to do the right thing and let him take Aiden home to his family and his mother. Karen eventually gives the baby back. On the plane, Lucky holds Aiden and tells the baby that sometimes he wishes that Aiden was his son and not his brother's, even though he does not want a relationship with Elizabeth anymore. He still has no idea that Aiden really is his son. When Elizabeth first discovered her pregnancy, Lucky had recently ended their engagement after learning of her affair with his brother, Nicholas Cassadine. That'll do it, Liz. Uncertain of the baby's father, the emotional strain leads to a mental breakdown, during which she attempts suicide by jumping off the hospital roof, only to be stopped by Lucky. She voluntarily admits herself to Shady Brook Sanitarium, where she faces threats from Helena Cassadine, Nicholas's evil grandmother, who plans to steal Elizabeth's baby to raise as a Cassadine heir. A paternity test conducted on March 16, 2010, correctly identifies Lucky as the father, but Helena manipulates the results to falsely indicate Nicholas, seeking revenge on the Spencers for her husband's death by raising the child as a Cassadine to undermine them from within. And then March 2011, Monica told Elizabeth that Aiden looked like Lucky when he was a baby. That is true.
How would she know?
It says in parentheses, how would she know? LOL. Maybe Laura showed some pictures. I'm not sure.
Let's go with that. Let's go with photos. Yes.
Because, yeah, he wasn't there when he was a baby. Anyway, the next week, Elizabeth gets a second DNA test. Elizabeth gets the DNA results confirming her suspicions that Lucky was his father. Aiden was portrayed by multiple kids during his early years. Twins Adrian and Brett Whitler portrayed Aiden from 2010 to 11. Twins Maximo and Finbar portrayed Aiden in 2011. Titus Jackson, the real-life son of Jonathan Jackson, portrayed Aiden from 2011 to 12.
I love when they do that.
I know. He was then portrayed by Jason David, who debuted on August 3rd, 2012 until April 16th, 2020. David was then off screen for almost a year due to the COVID pandemic. He returned as Aiden on March 17th, 2021. Growing up as part of the Weber Spencer family alongside his older brothers, Cameron Weber and Jake Spencer, he was bullied in elementary school, particularly by his cousin Charlotte Cassadine, which led to several family conflicts. Yeah, because she was a jerk, and no one ever made her take accountability for it to this day. In recent years, Aiden has been portrayed as a talented baker and a thoughtful, kind teenager finding his place in Port Charles. The show has also explored his journey as a young gay man with support from his family and friends. On August 31st, 2021, Aiden was recast with Enzo DeAngelis. He portrayed the role until May 1st, 2024. On May 2nd, 2024, Aiden was recast with Tristan Riggs. On September 30th, 2024, he was recast again with Colin Cassidy. On July 11th, 2025, Colin Cassidy departed from the show with Jonathan Jackson. When Aiden left town with his father, Lucky, Aiden returned to Port Charles at the end of the summer for his senior year of high school, but has not been seen on screen since he left a year ago. I was going to say, I don't remember ever seeing him.
Why? And you're so he didn't graduate either.
And like Liz wouldn't have been all over that.
Absolutely, she would have. And guess what? Cameron and Jake would have come home for their brother's graduation.
And
guess who else would? Lucky would have. Mm-hmm. For a one-off, Lucky would have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Or at least got a FaceTime call. Come on.
Exactly.
Aiden has spent most of his life off screen or in the background of other storylines. He is currently 17 years old, meaning at some point throughout his teen years, he was SORAS and has been aged 2 years. Wow, they really haven't aged her kids that much. That's crazy.
Yeah, because Cam was 2004, but he's meant to be 24. So that's only 2 years. So yeah, if they aged them, it was only 2 years. I miss those kids.
Right?
We kind of need Aiden to like walk downstairs as she's making out with Dante and be like, Mom,
what are you doing? You were just with his uncle yesterday.
That's Dad's former work partner. Yeah, we need some new people. we need to expand this.
We definitely do.
And I know some people think that there's too many people anyway, but
I definitely don't. We can use some more younger people to liven it up some.
Yep. Yeah, so that is the soap opera rapid aging syndrome of Elizabeth Weber Spencer Baldwin kids, boys. So Cameron also should have been graduating from college.
Yes.
And Aiden from high school, but we didn't see either. Okie dokie then. Let's, I guess, just join us on Monday as we talk about this week's show, see if any of the boys show up.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.